Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode, I want to share with you the 5 biggest things I learnt by working in my local fish shop. Alright, thanks for joining me on another episode of Parker's Reefs, and before we jump on into it, I just want to give you all the viewers out there a quick heads up that currently I am going head to head against the reefing YouTube juggernaut that is known as BRS in Reef Dorks Reef Tubers World Championships. Personally, I cannot believe that I've made it to the final. Some of my absolute favorite reefing YouTube channels are in this competition, and somehow, like Stephen Bradbury, I've managed to make my way up to the final. And I guess being a bit of an underdog, there's nothing that would make me happier than to take down Ryan and the team from BRS in this final. So if you have 2 seconds of your time, I'll put a video up on screen now to show you how to get to the Reef Dork page, go into the community tab and vote for Parker's Reef in the final. Let's see if we can get that Aussie underdog over the line. Now, back to the purpose of this video, and as most of my viewers will probably know, the last year or so I've been working 1 day a week in my local fish shop, just doing a Saturday with Dave, and I've learned an absolute ton by doing that, and have really enjoyed my time at Deer Park Aquarium. That being said, last weekend things were a little bit different. My good friend Dave had to go in for a little procedure on his back just to get him back up and on his feet sooner rather than later. And as a result, his store was a little short-staffed, and I needed to jump in and help out on a Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday. And I guess it helped clarify some of the things that I have learned over the previous year, but just really reinforced some other things doing 3 days straight. And I figured it'd be a great opportunity to share with you, the reef keeper at home, what I learned working at my local fish shop, just so we can all get a greater appreciation of what these stores go through to make our hobby possible. So let's jump on in with number 1. All right, this may seem like something fairly obvious, but it just doesn't sink in until you're there physically doing it. And that is the vast scale of literally everything. And I don't just mean, dealing with a lot of corals. I guess, yeah, that's fairly obvious, or dealing with a lot of fish. It's every single detail. When we talk about feeding the fish, there's a lot of fish to feed. When we talk about straightening up the corals, there's a lot of corals to straighten up. Talk about doing water changes, talking about doing glass cleaning, talk about testing the water of the tanks. Every single thing is just bigger and bigger and bigger. And I guess probably the biggest one that really drove this point home for me was the mistakes. When you make a mistake at a local fish shop, the scale is even bigger. I know most reef keepers out there have left the RO on before and had a bit of a flood at home and thought it doesn't get any worse than that. Let me assure you, it does get worse than that. When you leave the RO, a commercial size RO unit on, when you forget to turn it off when leaving on Sunday and you come in Monday morning to find the entire shop has been flooded with RO water, it's a pretty big deal. It takes a lot of work to clean that up. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is the vast scale of everything is just absolutely massive, and it does give you an appreciation for just the amount of work and the amount of difficulty it is to get everything 100% when you're dealing with so many tanks, so many corals, so many fish, so many dry goods. It's a big deal. All right, point number 2. This is one that I did personally enjoy because it really broadened my knowledge of the hobby so much more, and that is that you get to deal with so many people about both the good and the bad of what's happening in all of their tanks. You get to learn about different fish combinations that people have kept together that either have worked or haven't worked, what food things will go for, what their experience is with a particular feed or a dry good, a light, a pump. You get that all day, every day, and it's really, really cool because I know I've got a few reefing buddies, and we're always talking about different lights and pumps and fish and corals and water parameters and different medications or theories or whatnot. When you're dealing with probably 100 people a day for 3 days straight, it really drives home just the vast amount of knowledge there is out there, and how little of it we're really tapping into. So the 3 days straight working in my local fish shop, what probably highlighted that the most for me is on Saturdays we tend to get usually the same sort of people coming in every Saturday. Working on a Sunday and a Monday as well, I got to meet 3 times the amount of people and got to learn about 3 times the number of tanks, 3 times the number of corals and fish, 3 times the number of methodologies, and it was just an absolute information overload that I'm still a week later digesting, but I thoroughly enjoyed getting to learn from everyone's experiences. All right, point number 3, and this one, I mean, all of my local fish shop owning friends out there, and I've got quite a few of them, are probably going to pee themselves laughing at this one, but just how physically demanding the job is. I'm a pretty cushy office worker. I like to sit when I'm working from home. I sit right here, got my screens in front of me, and I'll get up to go to the fridge to get my lunch. Maybe I'll do a lap around the block to take the dog for a walk at the end of the day, and that's about as physically exerted as I get. It's night and day working at a local fish shop. Just the amount of physical work there is to do. And I touched on some of the things there before about doing water changes or testing tanks, moving drive stock around, setting up tanks, moving buckets of salt. There's some seriously physical labor involved there, and it is just a huge amount of work. I honestly don't know how local fish shops do this for 5, 6, 7 days a week. It must be so physically taxing on their body. So next time you're in your local fish shop and you see the owner or one of the staff there doing something a little bit heavy or difficult, why not give them a hand? Because, man, it's such hard work. All right, point number 4, and this is one that I really thoroughly enjoyed, is just how cool reefers are as people. I know in today's modern age, we're talking, I mean, you're watching this now via YouTube, and there's a lot of Facebook interaction out there. People have a different persona online to what they do in person, and you just very quickly get a disconnect between the real world and the virtual world in 2021. Getting to meet so many reefers across Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in person and just having a chat about their tank, their journey. They said whether they've watched my channel or not, it was just really cool interaction, and it really did drive home to me just how good the people are in this hobby, and how we can all just help each other out a lot more by just by being nice, just helping each other out, supporting each other rather than trying to drag everyone down, which seems to happen a lot online. So I could not recommend more. I know it's difficult in this year and even last year with COVID, but where it's possible and where it's safe, do whatever you can to get in actual room with other reefers. Go see one of your local reefers' tanks, have a look at them, have a look at how they go about doing water changes or doing something different. Just build a bit of a connection there, because honestly, it was a really, really heartwarming part of the weekend for me, just getting to personally interact with a number of reefers that I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, finally, point number 5, and it's one you've possibly heard before, but now that I've had some experience in the field, I feel like I can actually weigh in on the conversation, and that is how tight the profit margins are, or probably more to the point, how big the overheads are for a local fish shop. I know there's a common misconception out there amongst reef hobbyists that local fish shops have it easy. They get stock in, they buy it from a wholesaler or a distributor, they double, triple, quadruple the price, they sell it to you, the poor, unsuspecting sucker reef aquarist at home, and then they laugh all the way to the bank. And having a little bit of first-hand experience now at just how high some of those overheads are and how tight some of the profit margins are. Personally, I'm at the stage where I almost don't understand how the local fish shop survives in this day and age. The price of livestock, dry goods, shipping, electricity, rent is astronomical, and the tiny little bit of cream on top that the local fish shop is making continually gets questioned by us, the reef hobbyists at home. And I've got a whole new appreciation for the value of the experience, the knowledge that the local fish shop has. And not that I was big on ever questioning prices before, but I will absolutely never question a price in my existence in the hobby again, because I know that the local fish shop is not out there to scalp anyone. They're making an honest living and they make our hobby possible. So by all means, support your local fish shop. If it costs $1 or $2 or 5 or 10% more than somewhere else online, that's going to give you no after-sales support whatsoever. Just remember, you're going to get no after-sales support whatsoever. Support your local fish shop, because I know they support you. Alright guys, I'll wrap the video up there. I think I've covered everything as best I can. I personally thoroughly enjoyed the experience working at my local fish shop. That being said, I'm not going to lie, I also thoroughly enjoyed getting to sit down right here in my chair on the Tuesday to go back to my office job, because I have a whole new appreciation of just how difficult, both physically, mentally, and probably also financially, it is to run a local fish shop. And I've always really admired the guys and girls out there that do it in this industry, but I've got a whole new level of appreciation, and it's something I'd recommend to the majority of reef keepers out there. If you are in a a position where you could jump in and lend a hand. Even if you're volunteering at your local fish shop, you're going to gain so much knowledge. It's going to help your reef keeping so much that it's just going to be such a great opportunity. So if you have a local fish shop that you gel well with, maybe just drop the line, message them, ask them if they ever need a hand, if you're happy, if they would be interested in your volunteering, because it's a win-win. They're going to get some great experience or great help having you in store. You're going to learn a bunch of things, make some new connections with reefers out there, and hopefully we can just keep the local fish shop going, because I honestly feel like if we lose good local fish shops, this hobby's in some serious doubt. So do what you can to support your local fish shop, guys. Get out there, and if it costs you $1 or $2 more to buy it from that place rather than it does to buy it online and wait a few days for it to get shipped to you, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not going to preach on it anymore, because that's not the purpose of this video. It's really to explain about how much fun I had at my local fish shop, rather than saying anything about doom and gloom. But I guess I will wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to vote on the Reef Dork World Championships of Reef Tubers. I cannot believe I'm in the final, but here we are. Other than that, guys, if you've got any questions, comments, feedback, I'd love to hear if you have worked in your local fish shop. If you have, put a comment down below. Tell me about the experience. Tell me what you learnt, because every time I work in my local fish shop, I'm learning new things, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So I'd love to hear your experience as well. Of course, if you've got any other questions, comments, feedback, pop it in there as well. I personally respond to each and every comment down there, so it is the best way to get hold of me. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And last but not least, if you're yet to subscribe, consider doing so. That button down in the bottom left-hand corner will cost you no money at all and take 2 seconds of your time, but it will go a long way to helping me out in this venture. All right, guys, I'll leave it at that. Till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Bye.